Welcome to In Depth with Academia, the podcast where we dig into powerful and unusual academic stories from around the world. I'm Richard Price, founder and CEO of academia.edu, and today I cannot wait to share an episode that's truly unique. As always, I'm presenting this paper neutrally. I'm just here to walk you through what the research says, not endorse it. So keep in mind, academic research invites us to ask questions, not to just accept answers. Today, we're looking at the compelling real-life narrative, The Monk Who Gambled on the Game of Life, written by Suresh Soni. It's a heartfelt mix of memoir, philosophy, and cultural critique, centered on the life of Swami Satyananda, where's the line between seeking escape and searching for truth, and how do we make sense of a spiritual search that doesn't deliver the peace it promises? That's a lot, right? And it matters because so many of us, honestly all of us at some point, wonder about purpose, about the pull between worldly goals, family, and some kind of deeper fulfillment. Swami Satyananda's story connects to those questions in a way that's both painfully personal and widely relevant. Let's lay out the journey. Satyananda Soni started life in Delhi, right when India gained independence. So imagine that kind of energy and uncertainty. School wasn't his strong suit. Career after career just didn't fit. He married, had a son, and chased one dream after another, including a shot at the film industry in Bombay. But disappointment and frustration followed each venture. If you've ever felt that string of setbacks, you know it's crushing. Now here's where things really shift. Disillusioned and drawn to spiritual ideas, partly through the 60s and 70s hippie movement, which, if you think about it, had a pretty wild influence on youth globally, he decided to leave everything and became Swami Satyananda, a monk. But, and this is key, he skipped the traditional gradual journey toward renunciation recommended by the Vedic system. So, was this escape, as the paper asks, or, I don't know, maybe just another bold gamble in the game of life, but on a totally different field? The author, who's Swami Satyananda's brother, really doesn't hold back. He explores the four aims of life in Indian philosophy, the important transitions between life stages, karma, and the deep challenge of leaving behind not only your career, but your family and identity. What's powerful here is that Swami Satyananda tried to become a spiritual teacher, publishing booklets aimed at sparking a revival of Vedic wisdom. But the paper is clear. Changing people's hearts is not easy. Despite efforts to lead, to write, to teach, he was left disillusioned. And that's so real. Often, just because someone puts on the robes, literal or metaphorical, doesn't mean the support falls into place. Here's where it gets even tougher. Instead of finding peace, Swami Satyananda battled new temptations, especially drug use, which, that's often romanticized in spiritual circles. But for him, the paper says, it ultimately led to addiction. Stripped of his earlier supports, he drifted further from both his family and his original spiritual hope. The ending is somber. He disappeared, likely dying young, alone and unrecognized. So, what's in this for you? Well, this isn't a simple moral of the story kind of tale. The author asks us to interrogate our own ideas of success and failure. He actually nudges us, kind of provocatively, to notice how our measurements for a good life are socially made up. I mean, is money or holiness real if it's all built on systems we invented? And how easy is it for charlatans to step in and exploit people's search for meaning? And, side note, doesn't it feel like every family has at least one secret or one chapter of, we don't talk about that? Maybe that's just mine. Anyway, this story really leans into that vibe. But I want to stress again that I'm not endorsing any spiritual philosophy or lifestyle here. The argument in this work is to be considered and questioned. It asks, what if our so-called failures aren't failures at all, but just steps on another journey? What if success is not about attainment, but about understanding? Or even about the courage to try and to face our own contradictions? The takeaway, if there is one, is a call to deepen self-awareness, question social pressures, and, I suppose, to watch out for those who offer easy answers, whether in religious robes or business suits. The author urges us, gently but firmly, to say no to escapism, especially through drugs, and yes to facing our lives naturally, rationally, ethically, and spiritually. So as you finish listening, try asking yourself, what does your story of success and failure look like? Are you living someone else's script or writing your own? Heavy stuff, huh? This is the joy and the mess of living. And that's it for today's episode of In Depth with Academia. Thanks for joining me in this deep dive into Suresh Soni's moving, challenging, and very personal piece. Remember, the journey of research and of life is open-ended. Nothing is absolute. Let's keep asking, keep wondering, and sometimes just keep muddling through. See you next time.